Hello neighbor, welcome back! Once again, it is I, John from ARTV, with another year-end countdown. Today I'm going to be coming a little bit closer to talk to you about my top 20 favorite hit songs of the year, and I know you're probably scratching your head thinking to yourself, John, didn't you already do a list on your favorite songs of the year? And to that I say I did my top 50 countdown, but those are my favorite songs overall, doesn't matter about chart placements. These are for ones that hit the Hot 100 for at least 5 weeks. I know that's not exactly the industry standard when it comes to music critics picking their favorite hit songs. Most seem to pull from the year-end Billboard Hot 100 chart and if it landed there, but I'm not so much concerned about that. The charts fluctuate so much these days that I just want to see, did it actually land on the Hot 100 and have any sort of consistency? Did it outstay an album bomb? I actually think this was a pretty solid year for charting music. I mean, there were a lot of shitty hits. If you haven't seen my top 25 worst songs of the year, I would highly recommend going to give that a watch. But as we move up this list in particular, there's the songs that I like in the bottom half, but then we get to the top 10 and we get some stuff that I think is genuinely fantastic. There's a Spotify playlist linked in the description down below if you want to listen along at home. Be sure to like this video, a like really does go a long way. Subscribe for the love of music, and let's get started at number 20.
Big 40s and a big ass Draco. 3 more millions when you ask how my day go. Put up a phone, not a blueberry fango.
Blueberry Faygo lands on the list first, and I'm well aware that the lyrics on this are kinda low-key trashy, maybe even high-key, but it doesn't really matter when a song sounds this summery, so fun. The vibes are watery smooth, and it just makes you feel like you should be outside, I don't know, partying safely. There's a huge bounce to the hook, and a lot of what I like about this song has more to do with the production than it does Lil Mosey himself, although I can't deny he does have a good personality. I've been meaning to check out more of his stuff, so if Blueberry Faygo is only the tip of the iceberg, let me know in the comments down below what I should hear next. The country duo Maddie and Tay come in hot at number 19. This is Die From a Broken Heart. This song was actually released a few years ago. The album didn't drop until 2020, and this song also didn't cross onto the Billboard Hot 100 until the spring. I can understand why people would latch on to more of a simple song like this in such a very difficult year. It talks about, oh, why did this boy break my heart, essentially, and the lyrics remind me a lot of the country music that I grew up loving in the late 90s and the early 2000s. There's an innocence to it, and I think it's okay. I think a lot of people love to prod and poke fun at that type of music, but we needed this. I like this song a lot, and Maddie and Tay have always done it well, but this recent album of theirs, it actually had a lot of stuff that you don't want to miss out on. Another positive force lands next at number 18. It's the Halsey and Marshmello collab. This song has such lush electronic production. I think it's actually one of Marshmello's best beats, and the way this song just kind of roars to life, it just signals something inside you. It triggers a bit of a serotonin release. Halsey sounds incredible on the vocals. The message is really timeless. Be kind and give what you want to get back. But it's also one of those messages that radiates beyond that because of the way she sells it. I think that Halsey had a fantastic year in 2020. It was a breakout one for her as an artist, and if she can keep running down this path with her own music and the collabs, then I don't see her stopping anytime soon.
I'ma get lazy. I got the mojo deals, we been trapping like the 80s.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box? At number 17, it is indeed The Box by Roddy Ricch, and this song is lovely to me for several different reasons. The memes were pretty hilarious. Roddy Ricch is surprisingly versatile. He switches up his flows, he relies on auto-tune in places, but also can come across a bit more raw and aggressive. I like his bars. And number 3, the most important thing about this song, it kept Yummy by Justin Bieber from getting to number 1. Thank the musical gods, that did not happen! The production on The Box is immaculate. I understand and can empathize with those of you who are probably sick of this track because of all the challenges it was a part of, the Wipe Down Challenge and more, but this is honestly still the hype song. It gets me going, and it's something to fire up if maybe you're in the car and taking it a mile or two over the speed limit.
If I could change the way that you see so.
While this single did release in late 2019, it's more than eligible for this list because it logged way more than 5 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2020. Everything I Wanted is Billie Eilish's best post-album single easily, and she's released a few of them, but nothing has even come close to touching this one. Everything I Wanted revolves around a dark dream that she had about her brother Phineas and her love for him, their special connection. Phineas produced this track, as he always does of course, and the lush production here is just so entrancing, ethereal really. There's some brooding pianos and haunting vocals that both feel hopeful and devastating simultaneously. That is the blessing and the curse that she's able to give with us, because while this is a depressing track, the vocal layering is on point, and those pianos are just too good.
Can be my four-leaf clover, starting over.
Here's a straightforward cheers to new beginnings and starting over. At number 15, we have one of the most respected artists in country music right now. He's a little bit older, a little bit wiser. It's Chris Stapleton, and he's somebody that I don't necessarily know his albums. I probably should, but the singles that I keep hearing, they definitely do a fantastic job, and this one easily lifts my mood in a very, very dark year. It has some great guitar, a very open sound. It makes you want to travel, and even if you're not leaving your house or whatever, it still gives you a new space to wander into mentally.
Rain on me.
Rain on Me enters the list at number 14, and I think this is a great collaboration. I really appreciate that both Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande get a lot of time to shine here. They intertwine their vocals. These are two massively successful artists. They probably could have phoned this in, but they didn't go that route. They actually collaborated. You can see them trading off and actually having some chemistry all over this thing. These are two massive names deserving of such a huge sounding smash. This is a disco pop song with off the charts chemistry, and I love the fact that beyond the clapping drum rhythm, beyond the syncopated feeling of the track that really just gets you into motion, Gaga is able to craft these worlds out of thin air and just take you there on the spot each time.
That's my kind of bitch. She be saying some shit like, when you gon' fly me in private so I can land on that dick. She said tricks for kids.
First and foremost, R.I.P. Pop Smoke. He was murdered at a very young age in early 2020, and while I wasn't familiar with his music at the time, I ended up checking out his album, and I really enjoyed a lot of the tracks, including this absolute smash, The Woo, that lands at number 13. Rapper 50 Cent was not only one of Pop's biggest influences, he was also a mentor. He actually posthumously helped finish up his album, and I really think this track shows off how much at times Pop Smoke sounded like 50 Cent. Now, I'm actually kind of a huge sucker for 50's verses. There's just nobody quite like him. I don't want to throw out the term guilty pleasure, just overall pleasure. Some of his songs from the early 2000s are kind of cheesy, but they always slap, and his verse here absolutely does. Pop Smoke, of course, comes on to nail that hook, and it blends and twists several different types of flows. He's a bit more auto-tuned, and it can sound a bit off-putting at first, but the more I kind of dive into that world, and I see that he actually does have some grimier flows that take influence from the UK drill scene, it's a very, very interesting sound, and I hate that he was taken from us so young, because not only was that a life that was robbed and snuffed out, it was also an artist that was clearly extremely talented.
You could bring down my level of concern. Just need you to tell me we're alright.
It's a cute song, you know, I've warmed up to it a bit more since it released. I wouldn't say that I'm head over heels in love, but there's a nice bumping bass groove here. Tyler Joseph is actually playing an electric guitar, which is nice. I like the bouncing chords here. It's just kind of a feel-good song that might sound dated in the post-quarantine era in a year or two from now, and I still think that one lyric, you know which one I'm talking about, would you be my little quarantine, stands out like a sore thumb, but we'll take it for what it is, and that is a fun little lively tune.
That's just what I do, and that's just how we do it.
Chloe X Halle really broke onto my radar this year. They're a sister duo with a suave personality perfectly suited for R&B. Their album Ungodly Hour was really, really solid. I understand what Beyonce saw in them. She scooped them up and signed them to a record deal. and this song Do It is a sassy club jam heaven. Even just tossing this on the jukebox at the bar in a year where we couldn't do that, it's unfair. I want to dance to this song, and I need to. There's such a carefree, no fucks given attitude just floating in the air, and as Chloe x Halle progress into their career, I've already seen the growth going back and checking out older material. I think there's a very, very bright light at the end of that tunnel. Entering the top 10, we have Kings and Queens by Ava Max, and a guitar solo on a pop song? It works, and it works incredibly well. I love the fact that it just kind of comes in out of nowhere. It feels like payoff after a build. And while the lyrics on this track, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room there. They're pretty cringy. I honestly don't even care when the song bops this hard. A lot of you seemed pretty shocked in the comments last year when I had Sweet But Psycho on my best hits list, but I stand by my decision there. I think this song, Kings and Queens, is another great dose of poptimism, and while her album wasn't great, I don't really care when the standoff singles sound like this.
Oh, I Gucci suit, I'm feeling righteous. Yeah, I know that the truth is hard to digest.
Rest in peace, Juice WRLD. I hate that I have to keep starting these segments with RIPs to the fallen musicians. There's so many that have left in the past year or two alone. And Juice WRLD, while he wasn't always my cup of tea, I'm glad that I gave his album Legends Never Die a chance. I fell in love with the cover of this song Righteous by Stand Atlantic First. That inspired me to go check out the original version, and I love this song. It's definitely in the emo rap vein, and while a lot of that genre can get caught up in being overly sad or relatable, this one just felt naturally smooth, but also kind of like a polished dagger seeping into your subconscious. You can hear the hurt in his voice, and my heart breaks knowing that he passed shortly after recording this. It's a song where you can just feel the emotions on the sleeve, and it's done incredibly well and tastefully.
I knew you, your heartbeat on the high line, once in 20 lifetimes.
As we all know, Tay-Tay was full of surprises in 2020, with one of those being the Elegant Cardigan that actually struck at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. This is a well-oiled machine. She further masters the art of storytelling. You really get into this line of thinking and the way that she tells things from her angle or else maybe somebody else's perspective. She has a lot of earwormy vocal charisma on this track, and it's all feeling very dark, very cottagecore, if you will. People like to joke about that, and even though it's dark, it's kind of sold with a smile, like opening a jewelry box full of memories. The pianos, the orchestration, the incredibly well done production. This song is so easy to sink into, and it's only the tip of the iceberg with what she put out in 2020.
You always try to hide the pain, you always know just what to say, I always look the other way.
Saxophone solos fucking rule, and anyone who disagrees can meet me out in the parking lot to fight about it after this video finishes. There were so many tasteful ones that were incredibly well done in 2020. If You're Too Shy by the 1975, Figure 8 by Trophy Eyes, and also In Your Eyes by The Weeknd. This song sees Abel in a very, very comfortable spot. Not a comfort zone that he's unwilling to leave, but when he blends up synth pop and R&B, it is absolute perfection, magic down to a T. When he croons, we swoon. This is a delicate song about masking pain and trying to cover up something to a partner perhaps, or else somebody new in your life, and I think that Abel really conveys the emotion quite well. His voice trembles with a lower register and then breaks out during the chorus. All around, everything about the enigma is fantastic. This song never loses focus, even for a spare second, and it's absolutely one of the best cuts from After Hours.
My diamonds leave with you, you're never gonna hear my heart break.
I've never exactly been a huge fan of Sam Smith, but a hit is a hit, and Diamonds is a smash. This song feels very confident amidst the sea of electronic production. It's very vibrant and colorful. I like the fact that it feels danceable, but also like it's got a bit of a deeper message that can resonate with the listener. I think they did a really killer job at just lining things up and playing to their strengths. This song has all of those qualities and more. I appreciate the confidence that it exudes, and I love the way that the electronic groove just melts beautifully into Sam's voice.
Why you always in the mood? Fuck around like I'm brand new. I
I ain't tryna tell you what to do, but try to play it cool.
Top 5 hype, we've got 24 Karat Golden and Ian Dior with Mood. I did not expect to love this song as much as I did, but here we are. Both of these artists are clearly having a ton of fun on the track. I think it slaps up, down, left, right, any which way you spin it. The guitars are really fascinating. I like the fact that they incorporated a little bit more of an alternative styling there. It's so hooky. It lays itself into you. That chorus is like planting something deep in your brain. You don't even know it's there, and then you're singing along in the shower one day. They both definitely do their fair share of flexing, but it's entertaining to listen to, and they also find ways to relay their sadness in this relationship, in this game that's getting played with their heart. And if that's not 2020 in a bottle, then I don't know what is. If you aren't at the very least head bopping along with this tune, I just feel like you're maybe like a little sad garden gnome, just sitting out in the rain, waiting for something good to happen, not knowing that it's right there in front of you. Is this New Rules 2.0? Whatever it is, it was way too irresistible for me to not chop down that replay button consecutively too. And pretty much everything Dua Lipa's touching at this point, it's turning to gold, and that lived all over her album Future Nostalgia. Break My Heart was definitely a big standout in there. I love the plodding bass on this one. It slowly adds in a synth flourish, and then that hook, of course, is something that's right up Dua's alley. She plays to her strengths and then knocks it out of the damn park. Rock and Roll Miley just flat out works better than any other era that she's ever been a part of in her already somewhat long career. The cover songs, the influences worn proudly on the sleeve. How can anyone not see that this is her destiny, the best of both worlds? Miley's raspier vocals suits Midnight Sky like a timeless treat. The song does sound like the 80s in a way, but also with modern touches. The popping bass groove is phenomenal, and the synth touches keep this one flying high in the sky. There are so many elements that just make this the perfect pop rock song with elements of disco that keep it in your throwback rotation.
You're so golden, out of my head, and I know that you're scared.
I'm so glad that this got a single release in late 2020. It crept its way onto the charts in the United States, and it kind of worked its way up. I hope it gets even bigger. I almost had to put Watermelon Sugar on the list, and not that I don't like that song, but Golden is like even leagues above that. Harry so effortlessly exudes style and timelessness as he introduces older styles of pop and rock to a younger mainstream audience. This track in particular, Golden, really focuses up. The backing vocals, the da-do, da-da-da-dos, feel enchanting as they sweep over your ears. It's an incredible serotonin rush, and you just almost wish that you had that feeling all the time, the one that he had in his heart when he wrote this track. Maybe some of you didn't catch this tune because it wasn't one of the biggest hit singles like Watermelon Sugar, Adore You, or Lights Up, but out of the bunch that have been released up to this point as singles, Golden is by far the greatest one.
I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch.
Was there really ever any doubt as to what hit song would top my list of the best hit songs of 2020? It is Blinding Lights. This is pure pop perfection. There's not a single thing that you could point out to me and say, you know, I think I would change that. What do you think, John? I would say no, because I've heard this song 100 times, I'll hear it 1,000 more, and nothing about it needs to be tweaked. It is so easy and refreshing on the ears. It's synth pop magic. It's Abel Tesfaye laying down those vocals incredibly well. Everything about this track is a smorgasbord of everything that I want in music. The synth melody dazzles to open the track after a bit of a long-winded intro. It keeps the suspense flaring all throughout. Really, this is like a fireworks show for your oral cavities. Nothing about this song even remotely misses for a stray second, and I know that this song tore up the charts and continues to tear up the charts, but I will also continue to give it the praise that it will always deserve. It's not overrated, it's not underrated, but it is perfection. Thank you guys so much for watching my top 20 best hit songs of the year. If you want to follow the playlist on Spotify, there is a link in the description. Catch up on all of my year-end content by tapping this playlist card here, or tap over here to see my favorite hits of 2019. Remember, all of these that entered the list had to have been on the charts for at least 5 weeks. I appreciate you guys sticking with me through the holiday season, and I'll be back soon with more on ARTV.